Hi, it's Joy Foster, founder of Tech Pixies and the host of the Sparkle and Thrive podcast, where we talk about social media trends. We also talk about life coaching, financial independence for women, and women's issues. Those are the four things that we rotate through on this podcast. And of course, at the beginning of every year, we do a social media trends. And we've got our amazing Facebook coach, Vee Roberts, with us today. Vee does all of our coaching calls with our students in our social media accelerator and answers the questions that they have about Facebook. But we thought we'd bring her on to the podcast and really talk about the trends for Facebook in 2023, starting with the fact that Facebook is not dead. Is that correct, Vee? It's not dead.
Facebook is not dead. So you heard it here first. And thank you for having me, Joy. I love being part of the Tech Pixies community. And if you're not signed up yet, make sure you sign up. Of course, today is about the kind of Facebook updates. And there have been quite a few over the last few months since we did this podcast last together. Facebook isn't dead. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, as we know, managing different platforms, it can be difficult to stay on top of managing more than one platform. And I think what happens is business owners are actually getting confused with where to put their energy and perhaps how to spend time on specific platforms. And so what I'm seeing is people are saying, oh, Facebook doesn't work, or Facebook is boring, or nobody's engaging with my Facebook, or Facebook is dead. And that's usually because they haven't really given it a hug. Can I say that? Can I be really cheesy? Facebook for business is brilliant if you are consistent, if you're clear on what content you want to use, if you understand the audience that you are trying to attract on the platform, and if you are varying your content and keeping it informative and engaging and something that will evoke emotion. If you're always posting static photos, or you're always posting words without text, or you're not using things like polls and stories, and yeah, there's lots of different features you can use on Facebook. But as a business page, if you're not doing a few things to test if it works for you, then it's not fair to say it's dead. Because I actually myself, I've got my own pages, but also I know my clients have done very well from using Facebook and even being able to monetize their brands using the platform. So if you're using it and kind of giving up, don't give up just yet. Check out why, watch this podcast and you'll hear some tips, but also do check out why you can get better results by just being, patient, and also having a plan, a content marketing plan.
I think that's a great idea. And also, here's the thing I agree with you 100% on, because we've noticed this working on Instagram and also on Facebook. What we get into is a trap of a post that works really well, and then we just repeat that type of post. So let's say, we know reels are working really well. So then all you do are reels. Actually, you got to break it up and do non-reels. Now, that's an interesting new feature in Facebook in the last year. Reels have arrived, and they are alive and well on Facebook now. It took them a while to figure out how to get it to work, but they are working now. And so let's talk about a Reels strategy on Facebook. That's a new feature.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think people should just cross post what they're putting on Instagram, just put it also on Facebook? I mean,
I think that's such a good point. What with Reels, what I would say is, because Reels originally started with Instagram and Instagram's owned by Meta stroke Facebook, then you're in good hands if you do integrate the two. However, I am a massive advocate of posting at different times, even if it's the same content, posting at different times when you post on Instagram and Facebook. So for time saving purposes, if you're time poor, then I would say, if you have to, integrate and post simultaneously the same content. If you can avoid it, then you can post a live, you can publish a live reel, or you can schedule a reel now using Meta Business Suite. And previously you could only do that using Creator Studio up until late last year, but you can now schedule via the app. And what I would say to you is, if you're watching this and you are thinking about using reels, a reel strategy can be anything. As some of us are aware, short form content is all the rage. It's actually one of the massive trends at the moment on most platforms that are using social media. So if you're using video and it's, anything up from 7 seconds up to 30 seconds, as an example, then I would definitely say have a plan for the type of content you're going to share. And as Joy rightly said, it doesn't need to be a reel every day or 2 reels a day. And I know some gurus are pushing that as a strategy. Your strategy could actually be a reel every other day, and a video every other day. And reels now, when you publish on Facebook and you publish a video, it automatically comes up as a reel. So if you are going to use reels, you want to really be thinking about what's going to be on it, how people are going to engage with it. When they watch it, what action do you want them to take, if any? And what's the purpose of you posting it? Because that's really what your strategy is about. If you're going to have a video strategy, it's the same thing. What's the content? Why are you posting it? What action do you want someone to take away when they've actually watched it, if any? And, when are you going to be sharing it and how? Because remember, even if you only have a reel on Facebook, you can still post that same reel. If you save the video without the Facebook branding, etc., you can actually, before publishing, save that video and reuse it on other platforms.
Well, and next week we're going to be talking about TikTok. Well, I'm going to be talking about TikTok because I'm building the TikTok module for Tech Pixies finally, because it's time. But one of the things that I learned with TikTok, which has actually been just a game changer for us, for all of the other networks, has been that the parent company that owns TikTok also owns software called CapCut. Yeah. And CapCut is brilliant for making network agnostic videos. So you craft your videos in CapCut, and you can literally export them to each of the networks, and then you can do all the personalization on the networks themselves.
Yes.
So if you want to know more about CapCut, if you go to techpixies.com/CapCut, you can grab, you can get started with it. It's really, really brilliant. And I will say that has been a game changer for us, just even in a short period of time. The other thing about CapCut, which I love, and we're not getting paid to say this, I just I just really love it. The other thing I love about CapCut is you can build a team, and you can have all of your team members access those videos too. And so we were creating a joint reel as a team where we combined 16 different videos from Tech Pixies. So it was very cool. We put out a form to all the Tech Pixies, and we said, we've got an I Love Your Pet Day reel we want to create. Yeah. So we sent out the form, and what we did was we set the form up so that we could get videos back. People could submit videos. And then what Srijal did, who's our intern at the moment, she downloaded all those videos from Google Drive onto her computer. She set up CapCut, added all the videos to CapCut, and then just created this 30-second video of 16 different animals that all went back to back. So it's brilliant. And then you can use that same video on the different networks. So getting good, because one of the challenges I find is if you create a reel in Instagram and then you download it, it's got the Instagram watermark on it. If you create a reel in Facebook and you download it, it's got the Facebook mark. Same thing with so what I like about CapCut is it's sort of agnostic of the network, and then you can add it to each one and pick the music.
Yeah, I've just said in the chat, actually, in relation to as you said, we're not getting paid to share this, and I'm not even endorsing, but I'm suggesting people check it out. You've got CapCut, you've got InShot, you've got Splice, you've got Pexels that are really good for videos and exporting and changing formats. And also, if you are already on TikTok, you can actually use a software called Snaptic. Again, I'm not endorsing this product, but I do use it, and it's decent. So Snaptic actually allows you to remove the TikTok logo off of your own TikTok video, and then you can repurpose that and put it elsewhere. So if people that don't like using multiple apps, that's also a suggestion. But I know certainly for some of my clients, what I do suggest they do, because they don't all like using apps, some of them are not tech savvy at all, is they will create the video, and Facebook actually allows you to save the video, but not the audio, but you can save the video. So if you have yourself moving or doing something, you can save the video before you publish it, and it will save it without any logo or branding on it. And actually, and Instagram does the same as well. But yeah, CapCut is real good for editing videos and creating content.
Yeah, and you've given a list of them. We'll put them in the show notes. But InShot, CapCut, Splice, Pexels, Pexels, and then Snaptic. So these are all things. Now, the key here, is not get overwhelmed by the tech, but to understand that these pieces of technology are trying to make it easier for you to create video, and video is still queen. So we know that social media is still important for businesses today. We know that video is an important part of your strategy. And I love that you always keep coming back to the strategy. Okay, so let's talk about strategy. What's working for your clients? What's working for you when it comes to Facebook strategy?
Well, the thing is, because Facebook is, I think it's political for me to say it, but a lot of people don't believe in Facebook anymore. I think for those of you that still do, or for those of you that want to try it out, one of the things I would say works really well is if you have a way of working that works for you, your timing, your schedule, your routine. And speaking of scheduling, make sure you check out Meta Business Suite, which allows you to schedule on Facebook and Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, and actually that's basically replaced Creator Studio.
Absolutely. Yes, it has. It's phasing it out if it's not already phased out. It's going. And when it does go, that will be the only way that you can schedule content. And there's an app for it as well. And it's really good. I've already trained a few tech pixies on it and also mentioned it in our sessions that we have in the group. So, yeah, in terms of like Facebook and having a plan, think about who is accessing your page at the moment. Actually spend 20 minutes or so looking through your fans and followers and connections. Make sure that you've actually asked, if you're not sure, what they want, or done some research to look at what other people are doing. You can also get a really good gauge for what's popular by looking at people in your industry and what they're sharing and the kind of engagement they're getting. But don't let that be what guides what you share, because really you should have a really good understanding of what your audience need and what they want. And if you don't, that's why I'm saying don't panic too much, but do some research if you can. When you're looking at the strategy, you want to be thinking about the types of content you'll share. So that could be reels, it could be static photos, it could be carousels, it could be quotations from you or others that you share. It could even
And
be
it could be a
sharing.
rotation through all of those.
Exactly that, which is what I was going to get onto. It's and that's actually what I would advise. Having a variation of content is definitely a sensible strategy, especially if you're new to Facebook for Business, because it allows you to really, when you look at your analytics, which you should be doing, it allows you to work out what works best. So if you know that, let's say for the last 12 weeks, you've been sharing lots of content that hasn't got any engagement, look through that content on your analytics to help you make an informed decision around your strategy and what you're going to do moving forward. And I would say on strategy, use analytics if you have them available to actually make decisions about the best type of content, when to post, what to share, and even things like headlines and the kinds of graphics and animations that people like. And then you've also got things like stories and, behind the scene, the BTS stuff that you may or may not want to do as part of your strategy as well. And for some people, it can get really overwhelming. There's a lot that you can do on Facebook for Business. So I would say as an initial strategy, just get into a habit and a routine of posting, ideally in the moment. If you don't have time to do that because it's based on your individual time, then I would recommend that you look at the Meta Business Suite, and that is free, and actually schedule to Facebook, and you can schedule weeks ahead. So if you're someone who says, "Oh, I don't have time, it's really, long-winded, it's hard to know what I'm doing, what to post," then actually scheduling can help you to forward plan and think about what you want to share, when you want to share it, and then you can start getting a little campaign together as well, which is again something that I train clients on. So strategy for Facebook and any social media platform should always be about the purpose of the content, who you're trying to reach, what you're going to share, when you're going to share it based on your availability and your time without being overwhelmed. And then that why, why would they want to engage? What do you want them to do once they've actually engaged with it?
Well, and I'm a huge fan, and we talk about this in the boot camp. I'm a huge fan of one good post every week. Like, just no matter what you do, you're going to show up once a week and create a post, whether that's a live, whether that's a carousel, whether I like lives because they sort of force you to show up. But the goal here is that, you pick a day, you pick a time, and you go live every week, and you just talk about something in your business, or you talk about a client you've worked with, or you give a behind the scenes story, or you tell a funny story or whatever, but there's a connection piece. And I love lives for that because, right now we've got people watching this that can ask us questions live. They can engage with us. It builds up the know, like, and trust factor.
Yeah.
But even if you're not going to do lives, I like the idea of, okay, what are 52 questions someone could ask me, and then just write an answer to each of those questions and make sure that's releasing every single week. We've got a student in our community who is an email inbox zero specialist. And I said to her, I bet you could come up with 52 email hacks.
Yes.
Right? And she has to do is every week create that email hack and then email that out to her list. And so she puts it on social media and then she puts it into her email list. And in the end, we ended up, she'd actually already written a bunch of articles on LinkedIn. So we just sat down and I said, okay, let's take one of your articles, turn it into an email and send it out to your audience via email.
Yes.
The thing people don't remember, the thing people forget is it's not just about social media. You've got to get people off of social media onto email, because emails get opened at a much higher rate than social media posts get seen.
Absolutely.
So I was looking at her emails, they were getting opened. 75% of her emails were getting opened. Well, your social media content, unless it just absolutely takes off like a wildfire, it's only going to be seen by, 3 to 10% of your audience.
Yes.
So making sure that you've got a strategy that builds on social media and goes into email is really important, which is why we have bonuses in the Social Media Accelerator, the Lead Magnet in a Day workshop, and we've got a Mailer Light workshop coming up. We've got those things there to help get people off of social media and onto email so that you can have a deeper conversation with them.
Yeah, it's so important as well. Cross-posting, and also, as you said, with email marketing, having the social share and the social follow buttons in your email so that people are being redirected across different platforms. But just going back to the point you were saying about how to get more visibility once you've posted, because the algorithm, the way it works, you're not always guaranteed that your posts are going to be seen. Let's not forget that, especially on Facebook for Business, you can share to story, you can share to groups, you can share to your timeline, and you can also share, dare I say it, to people via Messenger if you have a good relationship with them and you're not spamming. So for those of you that are, again, having that low engagement, don't forget that little arrow underneath your post is there for a reason. Share to groups, share to timeline, share to story, and share via Messenger where appropriate. If you abuse those things, though, be warned, you will get your knuckles wrapped for it. So always have social media etiquette when sharing, and don't forget the power of sharing to other platforms as well, as Joy was rightly saying just there.
Yeah, well, in our Facebook group, so we have a Facebook group with over 800 women in it. It's an amazing group, beautiful women, just their spirits and their ideas and everything. And what we have every Friday is a Friday wins and promotions post.
Yeah.
And that's the day that if you want to promote something, you get to promote it on that day. And so there's other groups that have rules like that. So if the rule is you can only promote on a Friday and you can only promote on this post, then you just follow the rules and you promote your lead magnet, or you can share, your latest thoughts that you had on your Facebook page. Here's what I would also say. If you're going to use the pre-scheduling, use the pre-scheduling just to make sure something goes out every week. And then I like the opportunity for spontaneity. So you say, right, I'm going to schedule, you might schedule 1 week, you might schedule a Tuesday post. The next week you might schedule a Wednesday post. The next week you might schedule a Thursday post. And the week after that, you might schedule a Friday post. What that's also going to tell you is which days work better for me as you keep testing that out. But then that gives you the opportunity for spontaneity on other days. And you say, okay, right, every week I'm going to do one spontaneous post and I'm going to have one scheduled post. And that gives you the opportunity so that even if you have a week where you miss the spontaneous post, you've still got the regular posts going out.
That's so important. And actually, I should have said as a kind of disclaimer, whilst I am very passionate about scheduling to save time, I am definitely saying that people should always try and be present at some point in the week, because whether you go live or whether you post, even if it's just to go back and check posts, to say thank you or to click a like or to comment, it really does make a difference. And actually, when people start expecting you to be on your page because they know, for example, that you go live, on a Tuesday at 1:15 p.m. or you go live on a Saturday morning whilst you're doing a jog, actually what happens is that helps the algorithm in terms of knowing, people know when you're going to be online. You can put up reminders, you can put an event on your Facebook business page, you can set calendar invites to people so they know to expect you. And then when you do go live, the engagement's already there because people were expecting you, which means that your page then, ranks up further, and Facebook likes all of that stuff. They want people to stay on their platform, right? So it's super important that we don't forget, it's scheduling is great, but don't forget to be present and, thank people and like people. And that's why I do always say, try not to spread yourself too thin. If you don't want to be overwhelmed, only focus on about 2 platforms. If you really love social media and you want to do loads, then go for it. But if you want to get better results, then, be strategic about your time.
And at Tech Pixies, we talk about, social media stacking.
Yes.
So you start with one network, and then once you've got the hang of that, then you stack another network. And then once you get the hang of that, you stack another network. So we have a client we just took on. She's a couple months ago in October. She's a trans woman, and she is a sales specialist, and she wanted to use LinkedIn as her main one, but we knew that she had videos we wanted to embed from YouTube. So we reposted the videos on YouTube. We took off the intros. One thing I think is really important for people to understand, there is no tolerance anymore for social media for a long intro. So if you start a thing saying, hey there, it's, like my podcast intro, but I have to do that because otherwise no one would know what the podcast is about.
Yes.
But actually, even if you listen to some of the bigger podcasts that have, millions of downloads every month, they don't usually start with, hey, you're listening to blah, blah, blah. They actually cut to the juicy bit of the interview, and then they go to the intro. With your videos, it's the same thing. You don't start every single video. Hi, I'm Joy Foster. I'm founder of Tech Pixies. If you start the same way every single time, you're going to get the same reaction every single time. Yeah. So, which is people are going to leave your video and go watch another one. So realize that you start with the hook. The first few words out of your mouth really matter. The first few words you write really matter. The emotion that your picture evokes really matters. So think about that with your strategy. Yeah. Okay. So give me some of the other new features. And also I want to know what's been dropped. Like what's been dropped, like what is it called? Like a hot cake, or what's been dropped?
So I think we've covered off quite a lot of the new features in that, the short form video content, the fact that you can now schedule reels, the fact that you can create reels now in Meta Business Suite, the fact that you can now have fans. This is something that we didn't discuss this time last year because obviously it wasn't about, but you can now have fans on your page, loyal people that you can release information to before anyone else. Like I think you can do up to 24 hours before. You can have like a group of people, a subset on your business page, depending on your page settings, where you can actually make announcements to them before it goes out to your wider page followers. So there's that. There's badges now that they're giving out. Facebook, Meta have just announced actually this new feature where you can pay, if you're on iOS, you can pay a monthly fee and you can actually get a blue tick. So they're rolling that out. Look out for information about that. It's very
that's the Twitter. It used to be the Twitter blue verification, and and it was the official one. And then Instagram had it, but Instagram seems to have. Don't know if it's even still around. It seems
you can still apply for Instagram blue tick, but you have to go through their support system under settings, and you just have to give them a few of your links that kind of verify who you are, and then they basically will review those links and tell you whether or not you've qualified. And if you don't qualify, you can resubmit again in I don't know how many days or weeks time. But they still have their blue tick. But on Meta,
it's such a painful process, though. We've done it so many times because there's a point where you just go, I give up. But Facebook's gone the other way. They said you can have the blue tick if you pay.
Yes, they have. And, we can question whether or not that's going to be a trend that is successful.
It makes life easier.
Yeah, it does. But I think there will be some people who very much like with Twitter, with Elon Musk's announcement that people have to pay, for certain things. There will be some people that don't want to pay, and there'll be some that think it's a really good idea. So that's something that's just literally this week been announced. But there are lots of new features. So the way in which the home feature shows the buttons at the bottom, the navigation menu, even the feed. So the home now, obviously, for those of you that don't know, on the home button, when you're on your Facebook business page, you will see that there's a home button now, which basically shows up with what Facebook recommends to you that you may be interested in. It's no longer branded as recommended posts, but anything you see when you click on that house icon is basically content that Facebook believes you'll be interested in. And then you've got also the feed that you can view. And on that feed is where you'll see everybody that you've subscribed to, any groups that you're part of, or any pages that you've liked as your business page. All of their content will appear there. So that's another change
That's been a huge change, because I feel like in the last 6 months, I really have to make a concerted effort to go in and change it over to me, because
Yes.
I'm defaulting always back in as the business.
Yeah.
And so up on the top right where you see the account, you can then switch your profile, and you can switch between the business page and the individual page much easier than you could before. Before, it was a real convoluted way of getting to the page and seeing the page as if the page was a person.
Yeah.
And that's been a big change. The page on Facebook can now react as if you were a person. So you, as a page, you can comment on other pages. You can like other pages' posts, and that's a real big benefit as well. I mean, I love it for Tech Pixies because I can, as the Tech Pixies page, I can follow the pages of Tech Pixies, and I can engage with their content. And I love doing that. And so that's been a big change. It's almost like there's the personal world and there's the business world. Yeah. And so it's more like you've got like you've got the ability to switch between those two much easier than you could before.
Yeah, do you know what though? A little hack that I had, that I actually shared with Tech Pixies when I first joined, was exactly that. So even though now it's very easy to what I call toggle between profile and personal, business page and personal, you could always do that as a feature on your business page, but you'd have to go onto the business page that you want to comment on as your business page. Then you'd have to click the arrow down and change.
It was hard.
Yes. So now it's much easier, and there are a number of different ways, which I will share on Thursday. There are a number of different ways that you can now toggle in between your personal profile and your business page. So yeah, I highly recommend people get used to doing that, because for visibility, it's brilliant in that you can actually, toggle between your personal page, go over to your business page, as Joy was just saying. And once you start commenting on other people's business pages as a business page, more people see your business page, and that intrigue is there that then usually incites them to want to go and find out a bit more about you. So I would definitely recommend that as part of your strategy as well, if you are wanting to get more eyes on your business page.
Well, and the other thing I would say, remember, WhatsApp is also owned by Meta. So there's a lot of opportunities here for combining WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram. Some people don't know this, but you can use WhatsApp on your web browser. So if you type into your web browser web.whatsapp.com, you can actually respond to people on WhatsApp as if you're on your computer. It's much easier to type. You can have fast conversations. And, that's a wonderful way to send links and files and connect with people on a deeper level. So making sure your WhatsApp is set up and is working with your networks as well is something that I think is a huge benefit. And going back to the Meta Business Suite, you can manage all of your comments, all of your notifications, all of your inbox out of the same place.
Yeah.
For your Messenger, Instagram, and that's a game changer, being able to manage both of those networks in one place.
Yes, it is. And I know everyone has different flavors, if you like. So some people won't really want to do that. And it's not necessarily a given that you have to integrate it all. In fact, you can opt out of having both of them messages and everything in one. But I would definitely recommend, if you're someone who doesn't have much time, you do use them together, because you can do that through the Meta Business Suite, as Joy said. And it's really good for just understanding as well, for tracking purposes, where most of your engagement's happening. Especially if you are into analytics, you can see literally at a glance where most of your messages are coming in, how people are interacting, and also the type of content that people are interacting with. So for Meta Business Suite, I'm a massive fan. I've always been a fan. But if you have the app, it really can depict quite a lot that will help you to tailor that content that you're sharing.
Well, and if you're using the Meta Business Suite for managing your inbox, if you will, for Instagram and Facebook, you can mark things as done, and you can label them up as well. New customer, what's important, things like that. So you can actually, it is like literally like an email inbox. And there are, and just knowing you responded to everyone and marked everything done, and knowing that you're starting with a clean slate every day, that's a beautiful thing. So I think there are definitely some benefits to that. I definitely also really like it for managing comments, because you won't miss. I manage it directly sometimes on the app, but I like to go in there and just check the ones I might have missed. Now, one feature they said they were going to get rid of, but they didn't, is where you can invite someone who's reacted to a post on your page. You can invite them to like your page. You can still do that, but they said they were going to get rid of it, but it's still there. So one of the fastest ways to build up your Facebook page is to create content that people react to, and then invite those people that react to your content to like your page.
Yeah, definitely. And also share that link if you have time, if this is part of your strategy. Share the link from that content if you know that it's got good engagement into groups via your email, on blue clickable links, and make more people have access to it. If you're using something like YouTube, for example, you can paste that exact link with a screenshot of the image or the post as a post for your YouTube community. So there's lots of ways you can repurpose content from Facebook. And actually, I would really recommend that people look at that as part of their engagement plan for Facebook, is looking outside of Facebook. Where else can you share your content? Even if it's not performing well on Facebook, you could find that it performs very well elsewhere. So always test, as with all types of marketing, what works, and what works well, as Joy was saying earlier, repeat it. I've always been a fan of rinsing and repeating what works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then do more of what's working and less of what's not. That's what I always say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always a big one. All right, what else do we need to know about Facebook in 2023? What you said they got rid of live shopping?
Yeah, live shopping's gone. So previously a feature that you could have, which is obviously now on platforms and has been for a while now, TikTok and other platforms you can buy directly from. You can't do that now, or they're certainly removing that feature from Facebook. So you used to be able to do a live where you could actually have a link that people buy during the live. That feature is disappearing. So it's not a big deal for people that are on other platforms, because, as I said, there are other social media platforms that offer that service. But alternatives, if you do still want people to buy from you, are just to make sure that you update your shop and to refer people to it in the live video. Just tell people to click on it. Also, your blue button, make sure that you update the blue button to a shop now button. So when you're doing your live video, have a shop now button, even if it's just for the moment of that video, and then remember to change it back to whatever it is that you need it to be.
Oh my gosh, I have a confession to make. I worked on a project. It was a crowdfunder, and we changed the blue button to the find out more for the crowdfunder, and then we forgot to change it back to the shop now when it was done. And I know, and it was like, I don't know how long it was. It was too long. Let me just say that. And the business owner was like, is our shop now button still going to crowdfunder? And I was like, oh, let me fix that. So, even social media managers, that's a great thing to always, you want to check and make sure that you've got it saying what you want it to say.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's very important. Great. Well, Vee, this has been very insightful. Facebook is definitely not dead. I think that's one key takeaway that everyone should have from today. That's very important to know. I remember when I was having this conversation like 2 years ago as to whether or not email was dead. And actually, email is definitely not dead. Facebook is definitely not dead. So these are really important things for us to be talking about and to remind people there's still a great opportunity on these networks. The other thing, guys, don't forget, I know the younger generation might not be on Facebook, but the older generation is. And guess who has disposable income?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Over 3 billion users globally. So, it's there's definitely a business case. If you are a social media manager or if you have a business, there is definitely a reason to be on this platform. And if you're not using it or finding it challenging, then make sure that you do find out more about it, because it's a really great platform to be on. And if you get it right, people will keep coming back. And even if you're not getting it right at the moment, if you tweak it to get it right, they will start to warm to you if you put your content in the right places in front of the right people. And then you'll be able to build an audience that are engaged, which then means that you become very popular.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth continuing working on. And of course, if you lost with how Facebook works, Tech Pixies has a great Facebook module which V updates every year and makes sure is up to date. And she answers all the questions on our social media accelerator calls. So definitely consider joining us on the next time that the doors open. You can find out more about Social Media Accelerator through our bootcamp, techpixies.com/bootcamp. That's where we suggest you start. We decided that it was important people had an introduction to Tech Pixies before they dive straight in. So if anyone has any questions, contact us at support@techpixies.com. Now you also might want to follow V. And V, where can people follow you and find you? Because you do some great content on a regular basis and help a lot of people.
I do. I have to say, I've not been doing that much recently, but I am consistently showing up. So I've got lots of videos on YouTube. I also have Insight to Social, which is my social media page on Instagram. There is also an Insight to Marketing as well, which is where I share lots of content around branding and marketing, because I do run a social media management agency where we do training and consulting for clients. So very active on Insight to Social, which is the Instagram page. We're also on Facebook, but we more show up on Instagram, and very active on Insight to Marketing as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And of course, she's back on every year with our trends for Facebook, and we're so grateful for that. And thanks, V. Have a great day, and thanks for sharing this with us. And we really hope those of you who are able to watch or listen have got something out of this. And if you have, give us an email at support@techpixies.com and tell us what your key takeaway was. All right, thanks.
Take care. Bye for now.